gon' give it to you.
Cry, brother. It's okay.
It's all right. X gonna give it to you, bro.
It's all right, Neil.
Yeah, it's all good. What's up, everybody? Welcome to BGST.
I'm gonna have that intro in my head all night now.
Hey, I have to be honest, man. Like, I came in late, so I'm just new to hearing that stuff. So it's still funny to me. Yeah, welcome to the show, everybody. It's Monday night. There is a lot of Xbox news to talk about today. We've got everybody here. So, I mean, we can get right into it. What do you guys want to start with? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we can talk about. I want to
start with that killer title for the show. Come on, guys. Past, present, and future.
Yeah, this is true. This is damn true. I think, what did you think of? I mean, 360 games. That surprised the hell out of me. You know, I wasn't expecting that. Maybe, actually, no, I was not expecting 360 games to get X enhanced because they were already going to get a better performance just by being played on the X.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're getting enhanced, whoa, you know what I mean? And the way they looked enhanced looked phenomenal to me. Like Halo 3 looked great. It looked absolutely fantastic. Yeah, and I was so surprised. Bethesda checked in with
Oblivion.
You know,
Oblivion,
and also Fallout 3, which is a lot of people's favorite Fallout. So damn, like impressed. What is your guys' thoughts?
You know, at first when I heard it, the 360 titles, I was kind of scratching my head, man. But once I read into it, it's more like that creative way that they're doing the emulating system. So all the stuff that we saw, the comparison videos with the 360, you know, I saw the Halo 3 and stuff like that. That's all without touching any of the code of the game. So that's strictly what they did to emulate the 360 games put together with the X and stuff like that. So I'm really impressed when I know that they didn't touch the code, because at first I was like, oh, why the hell are they doing this? You know what I'm saying? But now to see that it's that way that they're doing the emulation, and they're not going in and tinkering with the code. They don't have the screwdriver and the wrench and all that good stuff. Yeah. I'm actually really impressed with that, man.
Yeah, hey, I like it. More options. Let's keep the games going. Of course, you're going to get a lot of the haters going, yeah, you're just going to get a bunch of old games because you got nothing new. We got actually a bunch of new stuff.
That was only
and also we get all the old stuff. We don't have to, you know what I mean? Like, the funny thing is, right? Like, they announced this. I have those games, those 360 games, you know? They announced the Xbox ones. I have those. I have 9 of the 13. So,
wait,
I'm just saying, you know?
I got a question, though. With the, honestly, I think they probably really could have killed it if they would have added some achievements to them. They're not going to probably see me go back playing them. But of the games that are online, will they still be online or no?
No. Original Xbox servers are down, so no.
So they can't even like Xbox bringing them back.
Well, not original, but like the 360.
So let me ask you this: then, what's the point of fucking Crimson Skies? I mean, the OG
Xbox, they'll do if it had the system link and if it had co-op in it, those games will still be able to do those.
Yeah, it does. So that's system link and co-op.
Yeah, but it's not. You're not gonna be able to go online.
It's not gonna be over the internet, but you can do couch co-op and
see that's kind of a bummer. Like I wish they could have figured out a way, because they're basically emulating it. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
cheap server.
I just know, like, they shut down the original Xbox servers a long time ago.
I know that they shut them down, but I mean, shit, you got the Zora, you got nothing but server. Yeah, Xbox Live, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know how much work would have to go into that. You know what I mean?
I mean, shit, on the OG Xbox, believe it or not, we were able to play the original Halo online, you know, through the program on the PC and stuff. I think it'd have been, they would have sold better, you know what I mean, especially with achievements. People would have been going back double and triple dipping, playing them all over again. And like I said, Crimson Sky is a multiplayer game. I can't tell you what the single.
It's got a single player aspect to it as well, though.
Yeah,
so.
But it's just okay. I just remember it online. I don't remember what the story was about.
Oh, you got man! What is up with you guys? I never even played that game online. I just played the single player.
Didn't what's his face? What's the guy that does Nathan Drake's voice? Wasn't he the main character's voice in that too?
Yeah.
Probably.
You talk about Mooch's best friend, yeah.
Yeah. What's his name? Nathan Drake. I can't remember the name.
Well, the one thing about it that's really
Nolan North.
positive as well is that the that with the Xbox One X, these games are going to be rendered 16 times the original resolution. So I mean, for the games, it's going to be like 480p. That's on the OG Xbox. They have the potential to run 4K. That's ridiculous. I mean, that's something that I don't think anybody was expecting with these older games, especially going back to the OG games. Because I can't. Ninja Gaiden was one of those games that always looked good and was
say the name again, Mega.
Ninja Gaiden.
Oh my goodness! One more time.
Ninja Gaiden Black. That game was absolutely beautiful. You know, that was one thing that you know, because that's the same people that made Dead or Alive. Those games last the test of time.
Oh, man.
And that first boss, though, whew, the guy on the horse, holy shit!
I can't imagine how good that game is going to look having 16 times the resolution. That's going to be stupid. That's the first game that I'm getting.
Mega, even more than that resolution, the cool thing about this was there was a lot of detail in the original Xbox games that we just couldn't see because the hardware couldn't output it. And now if you go back and you look at the comparisons of like Fusion Frenzy, I was like, oh my goodness, to see exactly what that looks like. You know,
did you see the comparison? Yeah, those were like phenomenal. They look, you know what? They look like better than indie games this gen. You know,
it did. Another game that nobody's not really talking about is Black. Black was one of those games that was a marvel. It was so different because that game it had that type of what that DICE has now with all the destruction. And that game looked really, really good as well. So I mean, that you had Dead to Rights that's on there. That would be a fix for, you know, people that like sleeping dogs. Those are, man, damn.
KOTOR. How about KOTOR?
KOTOR is going to be the second game that I'm getting. Yeah, no doubt.
I have that already. I may pick it up the digital though, just to have it digital, so I don't got to change the disc. But here's a funny story. Was I played KOTOR probably 4 or 5 times the first year it came out. Like back to back to back to back, and then I would play it every year after that, even when the 360 came out, and then that pretty much stopped when the Xbox One released. So now I can go back to kind of playing, and I didn't play it like 10 hours at a time. It was just like before I went to bed, I played an hour before. You know what I mean? Like just get into it. A great story,
like that go-to thing, you know?
Yeah, great story. You know what I mean? Just you can have fun, chill. It's got a, you know, it's Star Wars. It's fan, and we're not going to get a new one anytime soon. So. Yeah, you know, but expect right there.
That's great.
I finished the first one.
Go ahead, Tim.
No, I want to just make sure to tell the people listening, Ninja Gaiden has widescreen support, so you're basically going to get pretty much close to a 4K picture on the OG. It's 19. It's I think it's rendered at 1920p, so it's off the 2160p from what I was told because I was asking a lot of questions about it. So it doesn't render a native 4K, but it's like almost native. It's like 1920. The 360 ones are native 4K, but it's close to being 4K. But the widescreen support is huge on Ninja Gaiden, and it's also HDR. I think they use 10-bit coloring, so you're gonna get a little more pop with the colors too.
Yep, because the 360 was holding back the coloring to 8-bit panel, and now they're using 10-bit. So. Yeah, we're gonna get more colors, the better frame rates, faster frame rates in some instances.
Faster loading times.
Yeah, faster loading times. Like they really went all out with this.
How big are those games? What, like a gig or that? 356 megabytes?
What the original Xbox
games? Yeah, the games.
Yeah, they were on DVD size.
They were on DVDs.
Yeah,
there were a couple of gigs, like maybe 1, 2, 3 gigs.
It's pretty small, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not going to be that.
They would have really killed it, honestly, if they would have added achievement sport. I'm telling you, that because even with that, I went back and bought some. I have them now, but I remember I went and bought another Xbox. I called myself going to live stream again.
Yeah, but if they do achievements, they would basically have to remake the game.
Yeah, they have to remaster.
Well, no, actually, there's a soft. Or whatever.
What do you think, Greg? You went out. I didn't hear nothing. All I heard was
they have software. They have a software thing that's available. Like Sony has it too, where you could just.
Well, Sony built it in for the trophies for the classic.
Yeah, Microsoft could do something if they really wanted to. I don't know if they really want to go all out with that, but I mean, if they could,
you know what I mean?
They could.
Yeah. Like it's free, so you know. I'm just saying it would be a huge. I would buy some. You know what I mean? some of the ones, you know what I mean? I don't. That's kind of a weird list, though. You would think you would see more Microsoft games up there, maybe the Project Gotham.
I actually think they did really good with the list, man. They really spread it around.
Yeah, Psychonauts, Project Gotham, because doesn't Project Gotham have music in it?
Anything with a lot of music, I would say, you know, that's going to take them time to do.
Well, that's an example. I'm just saying, with Brute Force, they own that. I mean, they got a bunch of stuff, you know.
Well, that's not the same, dude. This is just the first 13.
But I'm saying, hear me out, right? Like I'll give you an example, right? Fusion Frenzy, no online multiplayer. You know what I mean? But they have Microsoft themselves has a lot. You know, they put out a lot of games during the original Xbox.
Yeah, when they wanted to get these, they wanted to get these started. You know, I mean, I'm sure we're gonna see a lot more coming out. I agree with Xbox. This is a fantastic starting third. I mean, KOTOR.
Let me go.
You can't really beat that. Psychonauts.
Psychonauts, that's a gem right there.
That's an amazing game. Psychonauts is absolutely phenomenal. It's amazing. It doesn't get its due, but it is a really good game. I'm trying to find the list.
I got it right here. I'm at the now. I'm at the list right here.
Ninja Gaiden Black. Yo, okay, Mega, can you tell them? What game?
Ninja
Dead to Rights.
Gaiden.
Oh, Sid Meier's Pirates. Sid Meier's Pirates is the shit. That is an amazing game. That is an awesome game. I still have my copy. It was $40 or something.
Yeah.
I'm pretty hyped up on that Prince of Persia.
That's the one thing that I haven't figured out yet. How much are these games going to be?
They're $10.
Digitally or $10?
Yeah, $10.
They're digitally.
That's a
$10,
fair price.
or if you find them on eBay, $2. It's like,
Yeah. Well, no. KOTOR on eBay is not $2. It's more expensive than that.
more like,
they have a website. I forgot where I bought mine from. That sells all these old games for like $10, $15 or whatever.
Yeah,
well, Blood Rain 2 is a good pickup. Also, Prince of Persia, Red Faction 2 was fire. So I mean, this is a really good mixture of, you got the Ghoulies, which I'm not really interested in that, but out of all the games that I'm looking at, the main three for me is going well. And then I forgot that this King of the Fighters right here.
Oh yeah, how could you forget about that, Mega? Like
I'm just seeing it right now. Like,
the first person I thought of when I saw that.
Blood Rain is good too. That's a really good Xbox game.
I didn't like Blood Rain.
I'll say the only game I question here is Grabbed by the Ghoulies, because that's a part of Rare Replay and all that good stuff. That is the only game I question here. Everything else, you got RPGs, action.
Make your own list. If you guys can make your own list, how many games we got here? What would it be?
There's 13. I mean, I would have KOTOR 1 and 2, Jade Empire,
Mech Assault.
Dead or Alive.
I would have Bloody Roar 3.
I'd have
Kung Fu Chaos.
Fable: The Lost Chapters.
Yeah.
That was an original Xbox? Fable: The Lost Chapters was on the first.
That was an original Xbox game, yeah.
I don't even what Fable.
I would do True Crime, because that's widescreen support.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude,
anything with
Conquer, right? I mean, Conquer would be
one. Yeah. I would love NFL Fever and that, but I know that won't happen.
Oh, I would love NBA 2K. NFL 2K 5.
You know what?
NFL Fever is a great freaking game, man.
Yeah.
I bet you we're gonna get a new Conquer at E3, because they would have put Conquer on this list, right?
Yeah, if they put Jade Empire up there, I'd love that, because that game is high def and was widescreen as well. So that was one of the big advantages. Yeah, that was one of the advantages of the original Xbox, was that some of the games were high def and supported that, you know, because it could support up to 1080i.
Yeah.
Which was pretty damn cool.
Using Frenzy, I would put there Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Crimson Skies, I'd take that out and I'll put maybe Brute Force.
Oh man, I'll keep Fusion. What are you doing, Z? Keep Fusion Frenzy, man. That couch co-op is
you know why Fusion Frenzy is on the list?
Why?
Because it's Bill Gates' favorite game.
It was a fun game. It was awesome. It was a fun game.
That is his favorite game. So that's kind of like Microsoft in my way, just like giving him a respect.
Dude, I have so many memories with Fusion Frenzy. Like it was one of the first games we had for the OG Xbox. Yeah. Me and a couple of my friends, we used to hang out on the daily, and we when we got the Xbox, man, we were going in like on that party game like hardcore, man. It is a blast to play.
I would like to get SNK versus Capcom. That would be hot. That would be great for me.
Hey, somebody from the chat said Shenmue 2.
Shenmue 2, yeah, that's huge.
I mean, you could do Shenmue, but I mean,
they had Shenmue 1 and 2. They had Shenmue 1 and 2.
They had
Yeah.
I mean, listen, for me, it's not. Listen, this is fan service. I'm not gonna go if I'm comparing games. I'm not really gonna ever bring these games up, but for the fan service part of it, and just the fact that you can play some of these games and you can have them in your library, I think it's a very good thing. I think it adds value just to the ecosystem in itself. You know what I mean? And it's all free. You know.
And you know, retro gaming is big in these times now. So I mean, it's kind of like they're like, hey, this is our Xbox Mini, but it's, you know, a couple of.
Mega.
I wonder what Ninja Gaiden looks like too. On almost.
Yo, Ninja Gaiden's gonna look crazy, dude. It was ahead of its time.
I'm gonna show a lot of gameplay of Ninja Gaiden. That's a fact. I can't wait for that because that I'm ready to get frustrated all over again.
Yeah, we're able to like cap that stuff. I'm sure it's going to be easy to stream that stuff as well.
60 frames per second.
Yes.
It's 60 frames per second, just so you know.
Oh yeah.
So you're getting a 4K 60. I'm pretty sure it's 60 frame, almost a 4K 60 OG Xbox. Honestly, when I saw all this information today, I was like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, how the fuck
it was just dropping all day, man. Yeah.
Well, I would expect.
And then we got the Gears stuff too. There's so much stuff that's going on. The Neo we're gonna have a lot to talk about.
Somebody brought hey, shout out to Tip Diamond. He said Scarface. I love Scarface.
Scarface was on PlayStation 2. That didn't come to Xbox, did it?
I thought it did. Yeah, it came to
Godfather.
It came to Xbox. Yeah, it came to Xbox. Because I had the what you call it for it? The background for it. I had the background for Scarface.
That was on the PS2. That was an exclusive. We didn't get that.
That came to the OG Xbox.
I'll Google it right now.
Google that right now.
Go to the
OG. That was on
because they had a skin for it. I had that skin on my Xbox.
What was the name? What the name of the game was called?
Scarface.
Yeah, Scarface on Xbox.
Yo, guys, while he's looking that up, there's only one change that would make this list.
It did come.
Yeah, I was like, man, because I had to, because when you watch the game, you know how like you can go and get those accessories, and I had the Scarface shirt and I had the Scarface background. It was fire.
You know what game I want for OG, and it'll never, ever, ever come to OG.
Fight for New York.
Steel Battalion.
Oh my God.
No, it'll never come to because it's too controversial. It'll never. Just try to guess it. I doubt you guys will guess it, but it's the most controversial game.
Manhunt.
Oh,
Manhunt.
No, it's not Manhunt, but good guess. BMX XXX.
Oh, for Christ!
Oh wow! God, Tim. Damn, Tim.
Off the hook crazy.
Yeah. That was a crazy game. And then the PlayStation 1 game that got canceled, Thrill Kill. If anybody had
that shit, dude.
I still got Thrill Kill.
Yep.
I got my old PS1 modded, and that was the only way that I could play it. And that motherfucker was crazy. Graphically, it was gross.
Yeah.
It was stupid. I always fought with the nurse. And then the two dudes that was looking like Ryu and Ken, but their bodies was put together. Thrill Kill. Just look it up, guys. Go to YouTube and look up Thrill Kill. It was the most insane game I've ever.
You know what happened with that is EA ended up buying the developers and then canceling the game, and then that game turned into the Wu-Tang Shaolin monks fighting game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what happened with that.
Kareem Lewis, how could I forget that? I always talk about Atagi. How could I forget about Atagi? How could I forget about Atagi, man?
Nah, man. Guess what? Yo, on this list right here, take Grab by the Ghoulies out because we already have that with Rare Replay, and give me Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, man, and I will be happy.
Oh, that is a good game.
No, I got one. Give me Advert Rising. I liked it. That game, it didn't do too well. I liked the game though.
It was supposed to be a trilogy, but it ended up flopping.
$1 million challenge game or something. That was
it flopped. Even the Xbox gamers weren't buying games back then either. But a bump.
Yeah, it wasn't. And you had Panzer Dragon. Huh? Yeah, you had a Panzer Dragon game.
Hey, Jet Grind Radio. You had you know, I would like the Simpsons Hit and Run. I have that game. That was a fun ass game.
I know it'll never happen but I have Steel Battalion, man, and that controller.
That would never happen.
Dude, you still got that controller?
Fuck yeah, I do. It's at my parents' house in their basement. Why bring that shit to my place?
Wow.
I do.
Freedom Fighters would be good.
That game was great.
Oh, that was dude, I was hooked on Freedom Fighters for I don't even know how long, man. Oh. That game is awesome.
They could bring back Manhunt as well, because Manhunt's on the PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? So Manhunt was a wild game at the time.
Manhunt was so awesome.
It was.
Panzer Dragoon Orta. Oh, yo, shout out to Victor. That's nice.
That's what it was. Orta. I knew it was a Panzer Dragon. I just didn't know.
They could put. Oh, here we go. Panzer Dragoon. Oddworld Stranger's Wrath was a really good game. Jet Set Radio. Stubbs the Zombie was a fantastic game. Star Wars Battlefront 2, KOTOR 2, Republic Commando was on par with Halo in my opinion when that released. That is a phenomenal game. I still have my copy of that game. Max Payne 2, that was another one.
What about Counter-Strike?
Trying to see if
Next Assault is number one though. I mean, if you really gotta pick one right now, one more.
KOTOR 2 would be mine just because.
Yeah, KOTOR 2 is so good too. Those are the two. Those are pretty much my two favorite OG Xbox games. I mean, KOTOR 2, Darth Maul. I mean, you know, when I was younger, I played. That's when most of my time playing video games was in the OG Xbox era. I mean, I remember putting so much time into that.
Hold up. Hey, look at this. Look at your screen, Chris. I had to go dumpster diving. Let me show you something. Share. Present everyone. Mix them all. You can see that.
Yeah, but that's the blue one. I had the green one.
Black. There's
no way.
No, the buttons. The buttons. That's not the original. That's the re-release.
And I bought it the year after. My wife bought it for me. Found something. Steel Battalion Contact Online.
Yeah, but that's the re-release controller. The original one had green and red buttons. That has blue and red.
Yeah,
that thing is massive. I seen the price on that back in the days. I said, hell to the no.
I got the games and everything. I still got it.
Yeah, I still got mine.
Here we go.
That thing was the shit.
Yep. Silent Hills time.
What was that?
That's another game that can come back. I mean, there's so many potential. What is it? Man, the game from the racing game from Midnight Club. I would love for them to bring back Midnight Club, but I mean,
guys,
there's so many possibilities.
I just want to point something out here, right? When they announced this this past E3, I know me and Z, we were kind of like, whatever, and I think a lot of other people on the panel too is like, yeah, it's good, but you know, taking the E3 stage, taking time on E3 stage, and now listen to us. Listen how like we're like giddy schoolgirls right now going through lists of like OG Xbox games.
Well, you know,
a lot of Xbox guys are very this is like, if you're a true Xbox guy, this is when you grew up with, like, you know, I mean, we all remember growing up. So this is, for me,
all remember growing up.
Obviously, but, you know, I mean, this is when you know, it just brings back memories. Anything, I mean, Mooch always says nostalgia, the hell of a drug, but for me...
He must be getting high as fuck!
But I don't know. I mean, I just think it's really a really good fan service, and it just gives you. A
damn! Chronicles of Riddick.
You know what? That is definitely going to be a game that's going to come, because that was an Xbox exclusive. Chronicles of Riddick is definitely going to be one of those games on the OG Xbox list. I know that's going to be there.
Hey, hold up. Hey, Tim, I got to give you your props, man. That Gears of War, Jesus Christ!
Oh my God,
you guys.
Oh my God!
I watched it 3 times before the show, and it looks awesome. That's compressed YouTube. So when I'm playing it on November 7th, it's going to look even better than that video.
When does the update go out?
Apparently, somebody in chat said now.
That's already happening, because I've been getting updates here.
It's like a 25 gig update or something like that.
Mine's already at 100 gigs. So what's it going to 125?
Yeah, something like that.
God, that's so big.
Gears is at 100 gigs.
Yeah, it's like
it was already at 95, and now it's going to get another 25.
It's at 100 right now. Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
we'll talk about Halo 5, man.
So far, the game list is Gears 4 and Need for Speed Payback. Those are the games that's on the Xbox One Enhanced list right now. And it's going to be stupid.
I think that was a surprise with the 1080p 60 mode. Wasn't the one
that huge surprise.
Yeah. Well, it was they were obviously listening, because that was the number one thing people were asking for. It was the ability to do that, and so a lot of people were saying that, you know, that X can't do that, and so now we are starting to get that option coming out a little bit more with the 60 frames. So I guess that's one less thing people can complain about, right?
Yeah, but I'm gonna do it.
You can't say much when this game's doing 1080p 60,
Yeah.
and it's a flagship, and then you have a game. I mean, not to shit on the Pro, but you do have a game in the Uncharted, which is their flagship.
Don't start that, man.
Yeah, they get the 1440p 30 frames per second, so you're really talking a big jump. 1080p 60 in a lot of ways is if not as it depends obviously on the game, but it's as tough to hit native 4K. Sometimes even tougher. So for Gears 4 to hit 1080p 60, and I'm sure you're gonna have the resolutions, high resolution textures. I'm sure that
they already said that.
Scale down. I mean, that is pretty impressive, and also in Horde mode, which is even more impressive because Horde mode is really intense.
Yeah, but I'm gonna do mine with the bells. I'm a shallow man.
I'm doing 4K.
Yeah, I'll take B before brains any day of the week. But 4K 30, I'm sold.
Well, let me ask you this real quick. So if I play the 1080 60, I use the 4K textures. Won't the system itself up-res to 4K, or at least my TV?
Your TV is gonna stretch it out. But
yeah, your TV will up-res the signal. Yeah.
Yeah, but it
won't. Oh, well, shit. 1080 60 all day long.
1080p.
But you want the graphics though.
Yeah, but I'll have the 4K textures. So
no, not with the textures only get
with the 1080.
No, you still get the textures, dude.
Yeah,
with the graphics, not with 1060.
Yeah, you still get the textures.
What they do in
downsample.
Yeah, you get the higher. Yeah, it's downsampled. It's like Tomb Raider. Yeah. They were talking about that. All modes have it.
Yep.
Fucking, it's honest. It's actually just it's crazy. But I told everyone. But when you guys see Gears on your TVs and not on a, you're gonna be so impressed.
Well, let me ask you a question. I mean, everyone here has played Horizon Zero Dawn, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I have not.
Okay, all right. Well, we've all seen Horizon Zero Dawn, right?
Right.
Now, what'd you say? Now, I know gear gets kind of slant from having like 3 colors: brown, gray, and black. But honestly, what I think this generation, I think maybe it's probably one of the most graphically impressive games we got so far this generation. But with that 4K HDR with the textures and stuff, Gears to me looks better graphically.
Oh, Gears to me is the best.
Horizon Zero Dawn. I got into an argument this morning about that.
Yeah, I had some argument with somebody too on the same thing.
Yeah,
Horizon Zero Dawn is a
that's
game, but Rise is still. I still give the nod to Rise just because of the variety of the environments once you get later in the game, especially to me when you got into the area where you fought those like nomads or those cannibals or whatever the hell they were. They had the prisoners in jail and you had to break them out. You had to have the Spartans in jail and you had to break them out. That was insane to me. And then towards the end with the elephants and all of that game is absolutely stunning. But yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn and Rise are probably the best looking games that's out.
Now I would say Gears is like head and shoulder from what I've seen. I saw screenshots. I didn't see this video that everybody's talking about. So if somebody can share the link in the DM, I would really appreciate it. I've been looking on my Xbox. I can't find it. But here's the deal. We also got to think Gears is more linear than Horizon Zero Dawn. So for Horizon being kind of like that open world game, they did a really good job at the graphics.
I'm not saying that they didn't.
But at the end of the day, here's the deal. When it comes to the X, those textures and everything that me and Z have been talking about, the upgrade in textures is just going to put it up that much higher than a lot of other games. With those 4K textures in the game, which is why I said Chris had a point with doing the 1080p 60, because you still got those 4K textures in there, and it's gonna make these games look absolutely gorgeous, yo. And I know when they made Gears, they already thought about that whole 4K and everything. They had it planned, they developed around that, and now we can see exactly what they were like, what they had in mind with Gears 4 with the Xbox One X, and it is drop dead gorgeous, man.
Yeah. But Quantum Break is going to get those 4K enhancements as well. I can't wait to see what that's going to be.
I'm at the end of that game. I was saving it for the X. I'm here, man. I had Nostradamus. I said, no, I know there's some X support. I'm at the end of it. Literally, maybe like a chapter to go. I said, I'm going to save it for the X. You know what I mean?
I'm on like chapter 3.
Yeah, I'm like, I think it's 5 chapters or something, whatever. I know I'm like 2 chapters away. Whatever. 2 scenes away, I'm sorry.
with Quantum Break, here's something funny as well. I have a friend who played it on PC, right? It's got a fairly powerful rig, and you know that kind of like I guess you say either fade or kind of like that fogginess that they put into the game or whatnot, that a lot of people were complaining about and didn't realize it was kind of like for the cinematic kind of like feel of the game and whatnot. He had to get it up to 4K on his rig, which was no easy task, and it took away kind of like that part of the game and made everything kind of like what people wanted it to be. You know, those haters out there, what they said that Quantum Break should have been. And it's funny because it took it up to that 4K to be able to do that. So now with the Xbox One X enhancement, for people who didn't like kind of like that cinematic look to the game or whatnot, I feel like when they get that enhancement, they're going to get that look that they thought should have been normal for Quantum Break. I absolutely love the game. I thought the game was drop dead gorgeous on release. You know what I'm saying? But for those haters out there, those nitpickers and stuff like that, you'll be able to get the game the way you wanted it to look with the Xbox One X.
Yeah, I agree. There's just so many other games that has potential to look great on top of what you said, Xbot, and what's the title, the future. These games that's, I mean, you got Call of Duty World War II. You're going to have Assassin's Creed, Forza 7, the king of racers. I don't want to hear that bullshit no more. There's no competition. And then you're going to just have that Dragon Ball Z game that's going to be coming out for the X. I mean, just countless games that's going to be coming. And what the Xbox X is going to provide, man, is something that we have never seen in gaming ever before, man. It's going to be insane. I should say for console players. I'm ready, man. I'm super pumped. I'm so pumped.
And something I want to say to the chat, yo, all the Xbox fans out there, right? You know, there is some salt out there on social media right now, yo. As soon as anybody tells you, oh, you want old games, let them know if PlayStation was doing this, like they would drop, I don't know how much money or whatever to have a system that went all the way back to the PlayStation 1. And don't let them lie to you either. You know they would love that.
There'd be love pieces on how Sony's so good, how they remember the past, how they remember the artists and the developers. Oh, there would be just so much love.
Yeah, Sony's for the gamers.
Instead, they're charging for it, and people are just like, "Yeah, we won't even talk about it."
You pay for it again, right? I don't already bought the game digitally, and I got to pay for it again. Like, come on, what are we doing here, right? Yo, so listen, the big thing yesterday, we had the commercial, right? And that was the old Microsoft or the old be the behemoth you are. And listen, I'm gonna say this right in my piece. I want to get you guys' opinion. To me, that type of commercial right there, the cockiness, all that power, that's what they've been missing. Since like after I liked the first commercial of the Xbox One. Remember the Roman soldiers in the street, and you had the Titan bust through the window. That was dope. And you had the McLaren halting us around the corner. But we haven't got that brash, cocky, you know what I mean? You know, balls to the ground Microsoft this generation. You know what I mean? That commercial right there, they need to. That's how you say, like you on a treadmill, right? You revving up. That pace right there, they need to leave it right there. Don't drop under. Leave it right there. You know what I mean? And just keep your foot on the back of their neck. Listen, bang that power home. You know what I mean? Not the PlayStation. Sony has a great console. Nah. We ain't doing that no more. Stop. You've been doing y'all out there kissing ass this whole generation, and it's not reciprocated. You got to realize this again. And I always make clear this. It wasn't any pro Sony's channel or anything. It was the bosses that said 1080p makes you a better gamer. Literally. You know what I mean? Literally. So they got to bang that home. That commercial, I give them an A+ for that commercial.
Yeah, a lot of people like the commercial. I think the song was catchy, but
power.
It seemed like I saw Fonz talking about it. I do think that they maybe should have made a little information about the specs and stuff. But I understand where they pretty much just went with a
most powerful
kind of a Hollywood type. Yeah. I mean, it was a good ad. The song was really good, but I felt like it was similar to the one at E3 when they, I don't know if they were connecting, but I thought it was, I didn't give it like, everyone was like crazy about it, but I gave it like an 8, but most of the people that I talked to really loved it, and I was told that the response has been really good. Like a lot of people liked the ad.
But
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, with that commercial, what I liked about it was how quick and fluid and to the point it was, like visually and with the audio as well. If you notice, like when the main character of the Shadow of Mordor, when he slammed the ground, you heard the bass hit at that point in time, and it was timed all the way through. I mean, I think they did a good job of showing the games, and you gotta remember this: the commercial's in 4K. All right, so anybody who has a screen that can see it in 4K, if you haven't done it yet, go back and watch it there.
Right.
All right, because that's the way they wanted everybody to see it. But I thought they hit with games and entertainment, because people were asking me, well, why did they show that alien clip in the movies and stuff? Because they want to let everybody know that your games are going to be 4K. Your entertainment, like your UHD, all that good stuff, 4K all over the place. And I think they did a really good job of showing that in like quick succession, yeah.
Real quick.
And you can get a 4K DVD player, which fortunately I have in my my PS4 Pro.
Well, guess what? Looks like I'm reading. Wall Street Journal pretty much supposedly has a piece detailing Capcom's like in a lot of trouble there, and there's a alleged possible buyout. But no other.
Listen. Again, and this isn't the first time, right? And Sony snatched up another Street Fighter from them. If they're going to go under right now, I'm saying if Microsoft is really going to take this gaming stuff seriously, and not just a hobby for them. Again, like you have, like I said, Capcom. Remember, shout out to Blaze of Phoenix hashtag buy Microsoft, buy Capcom, and all that stuff, and they were selling IPs. You know what I mean? I know you have a lot of different rules in Japan. You can't take something.
I think honestly,
but they need.
I know where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
I know where you're going, but I think Sony's the one buying them, in my opinion.
No.
Maybe Nintendo.
That's what I say.
It's going to buy who? I didn't get to hear what. I didn't get to hear.
Capcom is like supposedly they're like on the brink of.
It would make sense if Sony's buying them because it's a Japanese company.
Right.
Yeah.
Some guys. I know it can't be. It can't be. Here's the laws in Japan. It can't be a hostile takeover, but they can sell to whoever they want to sell their company to. Like someone can just go in there. Like I remember. You might not remember, but when Ubisoft first came on the scene, was Splinter Cell and EA had stocks in them. And EA was trying to do a hostile takeover for Ubisoft years ago, and snatch the whole company, and they wanted France, the country to step in, and try to help protect, the company because Ubisoft is out of France. But you can buy them. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, whoever can buy them, but it can't be. They can't get a hostile takeover.
Who's Microsoft's like big representation for Japan? Like who's their guy that's over there? Do they have anybody over there that like we know?
I don't know. No.
They sell 17 Xboxes a month. There's nobody.
There is a huge, but see, this is the thing. I just don't see Sony having the capital to just buy Capcom outright. They would have to take. I see Sony taking properties. Like they would lock down, I think, Street Fighter, since they already got Street Fighter, and maybe a couple of other games.
I could see them locking down.
This is an opportunity for where Microsoft can go after and get some of those IPs that like maybe I don't know if could be a Resident Evil 7 or just countless. I mean,
Mega
like,
Man,
I can see Sony getting like Autumn Issue series, but I can see Microsoft maybe trying to get Dino Crisis or actually trying to lock down something from Dead Rising. Even though I know Dead Rising 4 didn't sell worth a damn. Part of Microsoft Studios, it could probably be a hell of a lot better. There's just countless games, especially fighters. Good God. If Microsoft could get Power Stone in any way, shape, or form, that would be great, because that was a Dreamcast game that went to, what I'm saying, that's I think it started off on the Dreamcast and then it went on to PSP and things like that. That would be huge. I mean, that if they could just get any of those properties, it would just any of them. I don't think any of them that they can, it would be great. It would be huge. Because if Sony gets all of Capcom, hey man, I'm gonna tell you like this, man. it's going to look bad for Microsoft to miss out on those opportunities.
Dude, yo, check this out. If Sony gets all of Capcom, like how many of those franchises are they going to butcher though, man? Let's be honest, dude.
This is what I think they would probably do if it was Sony buying them or if it was Xbox. More than likely what would happen is they would purchase certain IPs, and what they would do is be partners with Capcom with those IPs going forward. So it would be Microsoft Studios and Capcom, but it would still say Capcom, but Microsoft would own that IP.
Would
so
you
they would have
trust
that
Capcom in the decision? Only thing that Capcom has done that's been positive here for the last 5 to 7 years right now has been Resident Evil.
Dead Rising?
Dead Rising
is kind of niche.
Dead Rising,
but that's something that Xbox they partnered, with Capcom for. They helped develop the game and everything like that. So what Chris is saying, it's actually not too far-fetched because Xbox does deal at least with part of Capcom.
Xbox get Devil May Cry, and you have a winner on your hands.
Listen, to be honest here, I know I'm not the biggest Dead Rising fan, but they ain't the answer. Not when Capcom's sitting on a bunch.
I was just using that as an example, dude. That they can actually, what Chris was saying, actually.
I understand what he's saying, but if the company, this is not the first time before. That's why sometimes I question, especially when you have the lack of talent or the lack of studio, on your own end, and you can go out and acquire a well-known developer with a bunch of classic IP. Now, let me ask you guys an honest question. To be fair, who would you rather Microsoft have? What, Capcom or Rare? To be fair,
Capcom.
Rare.
What?
Rare.
Rare's good. Like, I love Rare. Don't get me wrong, but honestly,
Rare has a ton of IPs. Microsoft
But see, here's the problem with them having a ton of IPs. And even if they bought Capcom instead of Rare, they're not fucking doing anything with the IPs. They're not doing nothing. They wasted Rare with Kinect Sports. I love Kinect Sports Rivals. It's fun.
Stop. That's Donnie D though. That's Donnie D.
I know it is.
Sports is a great game, dude.
But we can't sit there and talk about like all these IPs when none of the IPs are being used.
Hey, the last Street Fighter bombed. Nobody bought Dead Rising. Nobody gives a shit about Mega Man. It's all about Rare.
Marvel vs. Capcom, the new one, is not doing well.
It's nothing. Like, Capcom's not a player anymore. They're Konami, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, you know what I mean? Okay, Capcom is Capcom IPs are the players. That's the thing.
That's all they would do.
The people that makes the games, they have fallen off and they have lost their way. The writing was on the wall when you had a developer from Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite say to the fan base that nobody's really caring about having X-Men characters on there, and that game is basically flopped. And now they're trying to recoup money by giving costumes. And I was one of the people that bought the $90 version of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and you still want to charge me $11.99 for a fucking costume? You got me fucked up. So the thing of it is that their thought process has been foul. So the thing of it is that Microsoft can jump and get some fantastic IPs if they can. I mean, I don't see that there should be any problem with it. But if they just let Sony just pick what they want to, then I have to agree with Z and anybody else that's having a problem with Microsoft and how they've been handling their dealings. There's too many gems on the Capcom to not jump on. But I would have preferred Rare at that time over Capcom.
I agree with Tim Dog. We need you to. I'm with Capcom on this. Would you rather Microsoft if we had a hot tub time machine, right? And knowing what we have gotten from Rare from the last 3 generations, who would you rather than him? Imagine Resident Evil can be an exclusive, Street Fighter can be an exclusive, Mega Man can be an exclusive.
Well, yeah. Well, if you have the people to make the games, I would go with, in my opinion, Capcom.
Yeah, I understand.
I love his disclaimer. It's like if you had the people to make the games, like.
Well, it's not like these people are going to quit their jobs because Microsoft bought them. They'd be stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, here's why.
That's why this is why Microsoft won't buy them. They're not going to take an overhead like that. Sony will buy them because they have the VR. They could use Resident Evil 7 or 8 on VR. They could take all the IPs. They could lose who they want, cut the fat off of it, and they have a stable of IPs, and they'll make the games. And they also have Japan support.
That That would be devastating if Microsoft can get anything.
That's what I see it. If they sell it, it's going to be to Sony. If they sell it, but I don't know. You know, they're going to sell it.
I just don't think they're looking to be completely bought out. I think they're looking to get some financial gain. So, like I said before, if they sell certain IPs but still are partners to where they kind of have a little bit of ownership in that IP, I think that's what they would do. I don't think they would just outright sell the entire company.
That's what I was saying, Power Stone. And then somebody in the chat said a game I forgot was Lost Planet.
Right, that game was the shit too.
Huge on Microsoft. Come on, Microsoft, you have to make some kind of movement on Capcom. Whatever the hell is going to happen, help them out. Get some of those IPs. Devil May Cry, I think, would kill anything that Sony could, because Street Fighter V. It's finally the season 3 looked like it's going to be positive.
What year did Street Fighter V come out? 2015.
Yeah,
and it was just now getting good.
And it's just now getting good, but because of the lineup that they've looked like that they're going to have. I mean, the last couple of characters that they've brought out seem to be positive. I need to jump on and play them because I said I was going to play with that chick with the rotating ball and all that, but. I think Sagat's going to be coming in season 3, whatever the case may be. But that's too long for Street Fighter. As rich as the history of Street Fighter has, Sony just butchered that fucking franchise. You know what I'm saying? Devil May Cry, Dino Crisis, Adamashu. There's too many. Power Stone. There's too many great games that Capcom have that Microsoft can't afford to let go all to Sony. That would be a huge mistake. Huge.
Well, that's probably if Sony's gonna buy something, that would buy them some time, because that would get them a lot of obviously they're in competition with Microsoft. They have to be seeing what's going on right now. A console is not going to come in very quickly. I mean, people who say 2018, absolutely out of their mind. 2019 seems way too early. 2020 seems.
Yeah, like
they know that they probably know that they're screwed with the potato. So basically, they're gonna they could go with this, and that would be that would win a lot of fans. There's no doubt about it. And you have to realize this is their core. So Sony hasn't made a big splash in a while. This would be a splash. Some people say Nintendo, but I just don't think that's a Nintendo thing to do.
I can see Mega Man going to Nintendo, but I mean, Mega Man is kind of falling off. I'd totally prefer Cuphead over Mega Man. So,
yep.
I mean, we haven't had one in a long time, but a nice next generation one would be nice. You know what I mean?
It would.
A brand new Mega Man would be sick, man. Don't even.
It would be cool, but man, you got Record. You got to have another Record coming, and you also got Cuphead. And
I'll still take Mega Man over both of those any day, dude.
And guys, let's not forget the most important thing. We have Mighty Number 9. We don't need Mega.
That is true, man. Chris speaking the truth tonight, man.
But I want to bring it.
Phil has been to Japan, so somebody tweeted me. Phil has been to Japan recently, so it's not like you can't count out Microsoft.
Listen, the memo might have been up when he left. I don't know.
If they bought Capcom or Microsoft, that'd be huge. But that's exactly what the fans want.
You know what? Wait. Phil said that he doesn't believe in keeping games off a console. So do you think if Microsoft bought Capcom games, they would let them go on PlayStation?
You know how much money that they would make, though? You know how much money they would make?
I don't care about their money, but just Microsoft, I wouldn't. It would probably be multi.
I just don't see them picking the people up.
On the PC, though.
What'd you say, Tim?
I just don't see them picking the people up. Supposedly, when you work at Microsoft and you get hired, I don't know if this is true or not, but this is something that I've heard or read around, that you become a Microsoft employee. You're not really like an Xbox employee, you're a Microsoft employee. So I just don't see them just hiring all these people and making them Microsoft employees.
Studios, though, because Capcom has a few.
They need studios. This makes sense.
Yeah, they got Capcom Montreal, if I'm not mistaken. They got a few.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be a win, but I just don't see. And I just don't see it happening. Also, I mean, I just can't see it happening. It's just
Mighty Number 9.
This right here, something like that, Tim or whatever. This can change the generation, the course of a generation. Like, this is huge. You know what I mean? With the funding. I'll give you an example. Same thing with AMD, right? AMD has script, but they don't have the money for the R&D to keep up with NVIDIA, right? What you know what I mean? If Microsoft was to, like I said, acquire Capcom, just wishful thinking here. and all of those great IPs or whatever, like Mega Man or whatever, and they give them the same budget and market push like the Gears of Wars and Halo.
Well, they need the devs.
That would be huge. That would be.
But
huge.
they need the devs. They need the studios. They need to make the games. They need to make the games. So,
you know what I mean?
So that would be huge for them. But I don't know. Would they relocate them? Would they relocate them? I mean, it's a big undertaking. You got to buy their real estate. It's if they're really in the red, I don't know. You have to.
Microsoft will buy Capcom, and it'll become Microsoft Studios Japan. There you go, man.
Oh, that would be huge. That would be huge.
That's a fact.
That would be great.
That would be huge.
That would be huge. You know what I mean? But
that would be huge. And you know what? And that would sell. That would sell units out there in Japan. There would be Xbox being sold if they did just completely have a partnership and save Capcom and you know what I'm saying, and have like some exclusivity. That would be
if they let Capcom, like if they let the people over there kind of run that whole division and kind of like let them be as traditional Japanese as they have to be and stuff like that. I think it would look more in favor of Xbox and Microsoft, in Japan than probably any time before. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not even so much worried about Japan because they're not the player like they once was. There's more games and stuff being sold out west than over there. So it is what it is. But I'm just saying that would give what you call Microsoft a bench. You know what I mean? So we don't have to rely so much on Gears, Halo, and Forza. Like this would be, like, again, this would be huge. You know what I mean? Like
Right. You would have that Japanese audience, and then on the fact, I mean, it's almost crazy because EA is kind of losing their way a little bit. If it, you know what I'm saying, the Battlefields is doing fantastic and Star Wars, but it seemed like they've put all their collateral into those two IPs, and they're losing. They let Dead Space go. I mean, Mass Effect did do well. I mean, I know that I'm just saying though, but EA.
That's because they got to make EA big again, man. Well. Come back with the snowboarding and the street football and stuff like that.
Anthem's going to be huge for them. Star Wars is going to be huge. Anthem's going to be huge.
Well, no, I'm not saying EA is going to go anywhere. No, they're fine. They got the sports games. But I'm just saying for having other games that people that loved, especially the horror game. Can't think of it off my head right now, but that was a huge loss for them. That was a huge just letting that go.
Yeah, and I thought it did good.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. It's we could talk about this for hours, but I just feel that it could be now looking at it too. Like you were bringing up EA, they could buy them. A mobile company could buy them. Mm-hmm. It could be somebody. I just don't know. That there's a lot. They're in trouble right now. So if you acquire them, you're gonna acquire their debt and everything. So,
but I'm just saying, but they spent what is it, $1 billion or $2 billion for Minecraft owners? One Minecraft.
Yeah, they could 2.2, but they could buy it overseas. But I think the issue with what I see is because they would have to take all the people. I don't think they would buy it just for the IP because they need to make games, but they have to build studios. I just don't see them taking that route. I think when they talk about their first party and they talk about games like Crackdown and Ori as their first party, that's the way they're going to be getting games, in my opinion. They're going to partner with a dev and they're going to, PUBG, that type of stuff. And that's how they're going to get some of their exclusive games. They're not going to buy a studio and make it. I would love for that. But I just
I agree, but I'm just saying the part, like I said, when your competition can do it. If like I said, if you're gonna,
they don't look at them as competition. Come on, let's get real.
And that's probably been a problem this generation when we got our teeth kicked.
That's only a problem for us.
Yeah,
well, it's not really. It's not a problem.
We was what counts. You know what I mean? Shit, we in the court. That's what counts.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not really affecting us in terms of them being number one or not. No other company's doing what they're doing.
No. As far as what? Please explain.
As far as anything, they're not. I mean, Microsoft is doing above and beyond what any other company's doing. That's all I care about.
Doing a lot.
I'm you give example. That's one examples in the chat. You break it down, crap. You can't make.
What are you talking about? We just got back. We got OG backwards compatibility, Xbox 360 backwards compatibility. Everything's they're giving us over 150 enhanced games. We've got a killer lineup of exclusives next year. They're giving people play anywhere if that's their thing. We've got the best online service. We can change our goddamn names on Xbox Live if we want to. We do feedback. They just changed the they gave us a completely new UI that runs flawlessly, amazing. You know,
true 4K gaming with the X.
Yeah, they don't give us a half-ass.
The new console I'll give you, but I won't say above and beyond because I don't.
Oh, above and beyond, man! Look at what Sony's not even giving anybody any.
That's the problem, right? We Xbox fans will say, "But what about Sony?" I don't care about Sony.
I'm not worried about Sony either. I'm just saying, as far as Microsoft, I'm looking at what Microsoft is doing, and I'm thinking, this is awesome.
Here's an example, right? And you got old girl Shannon Love. When she tells me that Hellblade is on the level of Halo and Gears of War, there's a problem. There's a disconnect.
That's just her being nice to the developer.
No, that can't come on. Like Recourse is not. I mean, again, for those understanding that, but that's on the level.
Hellblade is a great game.
I thought you said Hellblade. I was like,
Hellblade. No, I mean Recourse. That's not on the level of Halo and the Gears. Like, no, that's not the answer.
I don't know if she said it was on the level of Halo and Gears.
Actually, he said Halo 1. It's one of my questions I said here. My man, shout out to you. But anyway, I said, you know, the Halo. I'm sorry, OG Xbox. You had Halo. The 360 we had Gears. What has been our big AAA game for you know, for the Xbox One? It's been 4 years.
Oh, she said that things have worked differently this gen. And then she brought up Quantum Break, she brought up Recore.
They had a lot of bad luck this gen. They had a lot of stigma. They were snake bitten by the launch. I mean, if they had like everyone behind them, there's no doubt that a game like the resolution really hurt them too, but like let's just say they had the resolution and they had everyone behind them. A game like Quantum Break would have got much better received.
It's a good game.
If it would have had
Sunset Overdrive. I mean, listen.
If Quantum Break would have had traditional cutscenes too, a lot of people like didn't like. Yeah. I like that, but that was another thing that people looked at. Oh, this is Microsoft trying to force their TV at us. You know what I mean?
I love that look.
Sunset Overdrive is just.
It's a goddamn travesty what happened with Sunset Overdrive, in my opinion, because that game was flawless.
Came out 2014. Install base wasn't that big, you know what I mean?
It was so much fun, and that's a game that should get an enhanced version. That's one that I wish Insomniac would just get off their ass, send 2 people to a closet and do that game real quick. Because if it took one dude to do Quantum Break, come on, people.
Hey, if I was Microsoft, I would say, hey, I'll give you some money, and I'll
and it's guaranteed to sell a few more games too.
That you can spare. But they're actually hard at work with Sony and stuff. That's why, you know.
Yeah, but then they say that
downgrading that Spider-Man.
Didn't they say they was willing to do Sunset 2?
That's soup.
Yeah, Sunset 2. You know what I I mean? But I don't know.
They'd be open to it.
No, the Shadow of War soup.
Yeah, we can switch to that. So, there have been a lot of rage, you know, from Sony fans and saying, you know, now Microsoft is cutting Digital Foundry a check. It wasn't that big of a deal. Just take their name.
Maybe they can take that money and they can invest it into GT Sport.
Who's that crying?
And that's one of them some Sony dudes out there. That's Omeziago.
with the rain effects.
That's Omeziago.
That's Omeziago when you saw those textures. And again, I always say, you know, I've always said the resolutions can be better graphics, drop images, textures, and kudos to them. I listen. I didn't really have my faith into Digital Foundry, the things that they've done this generation. You know what I mean? You're still not forgiven for your war crimes, but it was evident, and that's from a video. You know what I mean? And this is just the beginning. So it's really going to be like I guess night and day between a lot of these multi-plat games. As long as the developer, I guess, applies himself or whatever the case may be.
Yo, Z, we've been talking about, like you said, the textures, and the funny thing about this was beginning of the generation, man. Everybody's like, oh, PlayStation's got the better overall resolution and stuff, and now with these mid-gen refreshes, you have the Potato and the Beast called the X, and because of those textures, we have something totally new to look at now, and you can see the difference. It's like night and day, man, when it comes to the textures, the lighting, the shadows, and stuff like that. The stuff that really makes the game look good. Now, Digital Foundry, they are forced to be like, well, damn, like we can count every little speck of sand on the Xbox One X, and the other one looks like refried beans and Progresso soup put together. So I'm saying, man.
But I have an inside look to Omega Yazzo when he read the article. Chris.
Are y'all gonna get? Are y'all gonna get those 4K assets on those PlayStation Pro games?
No.
They can't.
Memory buffer is not big enough. Not enough, can't.
Yeah.
Dude, here's the deal, man. When you go and check the stables now, ever since like you're seeing these comparisons and you're seeing the X and stuff like that, what are the ponies talking about now? PlayStation 5. They don't even give a shit about.
They're talking about PlayStation 5 in sales. That's it. That's it.
But I think we probably won't get another place. We just got to. I guess we got the Pro and we got the X, and those was meant to extend the generation more or less, right? I think we all out of it. It's not going to be any more 5 or year console generation because these games take much longer to make. CD Projekt Red is still making what's it, Cyberpunk? We might
Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, we may see that. We might get that next year. You know what I mean? And
Sony no, we ain't.
Yeah. I mean, Sony hasn't even. I think already even done the final production for The Last of Us 2. Like these games take much longer to make now, so. We may, it did start in 2013. We may not see nothing until 2020, 2021. You know what I mean?
It's funny, like how like all these PlayStation kids made fun of us Xbox fans for being hyped for Project Scorpio, talking shit about our little M's in our names, right? And now all they can do is hype themselves for a PlayStation 5 that's not even announced yet. Sure, we may all know realistically that it's probably coming, but as they said, why get hyped for a console that's 2 years out?
Yeah. Well, it all comes around. But I can tell you one thing with Shadow of Mordor, and I'm sure we'll go into this a little bit. With one of the last NeoGAF explosion threads, they were absolutely beside themselves with that Shadow of Mordor. There were people attacking Digital Foundry, attacking John. They at the end of it. After all, like that guy Matt, that guy who's supposedly Sony insider, who's like he's up Sony's ass. He's like, well, 3 years, and he puts like this like somebody talked about the PlayStation 5 coming in 3 years, and then he's like 3 years, and he puts a question mark with ... So he's trying to say it's coming out in 2019, but that's basically where this is going now. Is that the writing's on the wall with this. You know what? We've all been saying this. I've been saying this since 2016 in April when the leak came out. And when we knew about the RAM, because we kind of had an idea it was 12 gigabits. Because Digital Foundry said they looked at the motherboard. But we've been all saying this, and this was the reality, and people were, saying he couldn't hit 4K. Gears wasn't going to hit 4K. I remember somebody saying that in the YouTube section. This and that, and they did everything.
4K is going to be $800, and this, that, and the other.
$800, all this bullshit. But now the writing's on the wall, so. You're going to start to see that. You're going to see, the PlayStation 5 talk, because I think, when you see Shadow of War, and that's just one game. You're talking about Anthem when that comes out, and certain games come out that are really pushing the graphical limit and using high resolution textures. And
Battlefront 2. I mean, just recent games, Tim. These games are going.
Yeah, no, but I'm like talking like they're going to be games.
Tim's onto something here.
Oh, go ahead.
No, like if they're going to be games like Anthem is going to be like the one game
it's going to be better.
It's going to be way better, and even Shadow of War's way better. So the writing's on the wall for those guys, and they're just going to inevitably say PlayStation 5.
Yo, Tim, I like what you're saying. If you don't mind, I just want to build off that real quick, because here's the thing: when it comes to the Xbox One X, they've switched the SDKs now. Like the SDKs are the One X. So just like natural evolution of game development, now they have like these newer dev kits. They have a really good API with DirectX 12. The tools, everything are spot on. Trust me, I know. I talk talk to the Don all the time who deals with DirectX 12 and developing games and all that good stuff. And the natural evolution within that development kit is starting as well. So the deeper we go into, you know, having the developers having the Xbox One X dev kit, the more they're going to pull from the hardware. And it's actually the further we go down, the better the games are going to look on the X. And it's just it's a natural progression when it comes to game development, man.
Yeah. Well, again,
and Microsoft's really, and I actually, it's funny that you say that. I had asked that question internally to somebody that could answer that question. I said, you know, we saw what we saw with Xbox One and the progression of that, the developmental kit, the SDK, and how it grew and grew. Obviously, it had to connect, but you know, you're getting games like Gears 4 in 1080p on the OG Xbox. I said, is that progression going to happen with the Xbox One X dev kit? And he says, absolutely. So in more time, they're going to optimize, and that's just what they do. I mean, that's the mark of Microsoft.
Here's the thing, right? And I told you guys before this, and I was a fly on the wall and privy to, you know, people talking, and I said, no, I told you guys, when it comes to hardware, again, no longer will Microsoft ever be, you know, outgunned or done on the hardware side of things, right? So even if Sony releases the PlayStation 5 in 2019, you know, Microsoft is gonna hurdle them again the following year, maybe even the same year. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. So when it comes to power, you know, even if the PlayStation 5 comes out, it probably will maybe 10 T-flops. It should be, at least. You know, it'd be more powerful than the X. But then Microsoft probably come out something. Yeah,
I don't even, if it comes out in 2 years, I don't see it being that much more powerful.
The next generation it will have to be.
Well, no, I'm just saying
4K 60.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know, man. I mean, like,
it'd be what's a GTX 1080? That's fucking 10 flops, right? 10, 11 flops.
Yeah,
it's out now. 2 years. Yeah, we talk about in 2020. It'd be at least 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2020 sounds about more.
2020, 2021. See, and here's the thing, like with AMD, because AMD has got the stronghold when it comes to consoles, when it comes to the system on a chips, the CPUs, GPUs, and stuff like that. About 2019 is the kind of like the blueprint for a GPU architecture coming out called Navi, right? Which is supposed to be ultra scalable, and it's supposed to be kind of like the next step above Vega. Now, if they're gonna come out with the PlayStation 5 in 2019, there's a good chance that they're not gonna have that newer GPU architecture, which you know, from what I hear, kind of like behind closed doors when it comes to game developers and stuff, it's going to be something serious, right? Yeah. So you got to think about, you know, 2020, 2021, you know, if they're going to have that kind of like newer base architecture to the GPU in their system.
And also Sony has to, you know, if they're going to use the Ryzen chip, then they got to wait for the price for it to go down enough, and the fact that they want to recoup as much money as they have for what they're getting off of the PlayStation 4, because I think right about now they're probably actually getting some they're probably recouping some money back from the sales of the PS4. So it's not going to be that clear. If they came out and they rushed the PS5 like they did the Pro, it's going to have the same effect. Yeah, it will be slightly more powerful than the Xbox One X, but that was the whole reason why I've been saying that the Xbox One X is future-proof, because it has so many other features on top of it being as powerful as it is. PlayStation is going to have to make sure that it is the same amount of powerful as what the X is to this Pro. Like, we're talking about 50% more powerful. And that's not going to be cheap. How many PlayStation fans is going out there going to be paying five, you know what I'm saying, between $550 for a console? I don't see too many right off the gate. They'll wait.
That bought the PlayStation 3, but let me ask you this: will they have, if PlayStation 5, will PlayStation 4 games be backward compatible? Considering how they say that gamers don't care about backwards compatibility.
I think you better play the PS4 games on it, but of course you want to play your PS5 games on the what you call it. But way the games are right now, like far as, you know, cross-gen, you can probably buy one game and probably work on both consoles. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, we're in a strange situation here. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, is this going to be the norm? Every 2-3 years we get a refresh, which I don't have a problem with that. You know what I mean? I really don't have a problem with that. You know what I mean? Like you say, no. Again, I say no one left behind. You can still play your games.
Sony couldn't afford that though, Z.
What do you mean? I mean, here's the thing. The key is software. You know what I mean? And that's
Well,
what
the thing is, these systems are x86 architecture, so there's actually no excuse for Sony if they continue with the x86. There's no excuse for it not to be backwards compatible. If they don't do it backwards compatible, like if they don't do backwards compatibility, but they're using the x86 architecture, then you can point at them and be like, "You money grubbers!" I swear to God, because that's the only reason why it wouldn't have backwards compatibility in it, man.
Well, and again, I don't know. I mean, I don't think Sony's going to allow you to play PS5 games on the PS4.
No, PS4 on PS5.
I mean, that should be able to happen. You know what I mean?
Should be, but it ain't.
Yeah. I mean, that should be able to happen. Probably on Sony, they're not going to change the API or anything. It's probably going to be the same thing. But like I've always said before, like it's the same way that if someone has a 560 and you have a 1080, we can play the same game, but just one game is just going to look, of course, shinier and better. You know, so going forth, maybe the S. No, I don't know. Maybe they probably do away with the S after a while, more years. Maybe the X would be maybe the introduction console to the Microsoft ecosystem.
That's what's going to happen about 3 to 4 years, man.
I wouldn't even say. I say 2 years. I think in 2 years that the X is going, because the X is going to be dropped down in price enough for people to actually invest into it, and then by that time, it's, you know what I'm saying, for however powerful that system can actually be, when, you know, developers get to actually pushing it, then, you know, that I think that the price will dramatically drop. Just like I think the price of the S is going to dramatically drop. I think the S is going to be obsolete in about definitely in 3 years. I say 2 years, but definitely in 3.
One step further, I think the X again is going to be Microsoft and more console selling, because the reason why I say that again, because the Xbox came out in 2013, more or less. It's not selling that well now, and I think everybody's waiting for the X.
Yes.
And those who want an S is $200. They would have went out and bought one by now. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that's kind of what I feel. Maybe it's being modest a little bit, kind of you know, or maybe the same thing with the Elite controllers. You know, they didn't think they would do as well as they did because they were expensive. It was for the hardcore gamer, and those things were sold out for like 2 months. You know what I mean? So I hope, again, this is not something that Microsoft is misreading the market. Even right now, you can't even pre-order the X, and I think maybe you think that's a huge mistake that they're making. Like, you can pre-order right now.
It's the same thing that Nintendo is doing, though. Nintendo has got a lot of you know, supply and demand, and the demand for them to you know, to not make as many as they could is even getting people to want to say, "Oh, I want this. I got to have it."
But and people are going to go I'm with you, but not this 2 months here, November, December. They will sell more in these 2 months, probably will do 8 months, you know, throughout the rest of the year. These are, you don't realize Black Friday alone, both Microsoft and Sony do about 1 million. You understand what I'm saying? And and you know, I hope this is not the case. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like, you know, that, you know, you can't go out there and, you know, get the console. I remember when the 360 came out, it was hard to go in the store, believe it or not, to buy the 360 for like 2-3 months after the launch.
You know what I mean?
I remember that too, man.
Because I bought one for me and my son.
Yeah, I hope again that they don't misread the market. You know what I mean? Like, this would be a huge opportunity. Plus, I'm betting Porter Rock. I'd eat my money, man. Listen, if I lose this bet,
man, you're gonna beat Porter Rock. This is the indication that the S is not really selling that well, is because there's so many people that's intrigued by the X. The PlayStation fans do not want to hear this, but it is an actual fact. Because it was a totally different situation compared to the PlayStation 4 to the Pro, because Mark Cerny and them got up there and lied and told their fan base, well, the Pro's going to have HDR and it's going to show games even better than what you have on your vanilla PlayStation 4 or your Slim. That's going to be coming here as well. But the thing of it is that it's going to have HDR too. And what that did is made everybody say, oh, well, what the hell I'm going to buy a Pro for when I already have HDR? And they lied to their fan base.
Pretty much. But again, I don't know. You know, I just hope they have enough to meet demand during the holiday season. You know what I mean?
I think they will.
because that's you can't that's where they sell the most consoles, the most anything in November, Black Friday. Then you got that Cyber Monday. That will be a disaster if they don't have any pre-orders up.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, but it is what it is, man. Is there anything else we wanted to cover before we get about here about 9 o'clock? Anything else we wanted to cover?
No, man, just Xbox is the shit.
Fall of NeoGaf, boys.
The fall of NeoGaf. Oh, you can talk about GL Sport too. You can talk about GT Sport too. They got sales, but they ain't got no content.
You know what's crazy? I woke up to this morning. I had to go to the doctor to get the staples out, but that they were talking about. Did Digital Foundry say the game looked better in certain places than Forza?
The trees and the lighting. That was all. That was the only things that they said that looked better.
No, they said the detail. They cherry picked the MX-5, and they were talking about the hood ornament. They were talking about the little windshield washer sprayer, like that's supposed to be next to the windshield and stuff like that. And the funny thing about this was, if you know about these two games, you know there's about 160 cars on GT Sport.
158. Yeah.
There's over 700 cars on Forza Motorsport 7, and they said it like maybe twice in the video, but they just kind of tried to blend it in there. They're like, oh yeah, it's got less content, but look at this windshield washer sprayer thing right here and how detailed it is on Gran Turismo Sport. And it's like, dude, in a racing simulator, you want a bunch of different cars. You want the all-wheel drives. You want.
Were they comparing the Pro to the 1S?
I was just going to say that, but that was like, that's the one thing that they didn't advertise, that they were showing the Xbox. They were showing the Xbox One S, and they were showing the PlayStation Pro version.
They said PC. They said they were showing the Forza Motorsport on the PC, which is actually still unfair as well because
it don't have HDR.
HDR, exactly.
Yeah, it don't have HDR capability. Look, man, I played both games, and and I'm still going to get GT Sport when it gets on sale. I was going to pay the $79 for it. I was going to get it, and I was like, because I am a fan of GT. After I played that demo, I realized that what PlayStation, I should say PlayStation, what Sony has done, Sony has wrecked the vision of what these guys are actually trying to do with this game. You could just tell it's the same thing that they did with Street Fighter V, they're doing with GT Sport. Look, you can't look.
Yo, Mega.
I don't have as many hours on GT Sport as I do in Forza. I got damn near 100 hours. I've been no-lifing Forza 7. I have not played a racing game this long since GT3. And
yo, Mega, you gotta hear this.
Go ahead.
Mysterious in the chat said GT will be getting cars up to 500, I believe.
Right.
So he believes there's going to be over 300 cars as DLC.
They're supposed to, and they're supposed to get rain. This is the thing that I'm talking about. $79, right? You want me to pay $79 to wait for fucking rain physics or dynamic weather? You want me to pay $79 to get DLC for cars that should have been already fucking available? I mean, you get other games that give you more cars than what GT Sport is giving you. You're telling me that I'll pay $79 and I have to wait in order to get more tracks. I have to wait for other enhancements that I can get off of Project Cars 2, off of Forza 7, off of Dirt 4, off of any other damn racer, the Formula 1, all these other racers that's already available that gives you 10 times more content. I don't want to hear that bullshit. You can talk about the sales numbers. I know you motherfuckers ain't buying this game. I know if you do, and I'm going to make this just prediction. I'm already crunk and ready for Thursday night for multiplayer. I'm ready to put in work. Let me just tell you this. After GT Sport will be non-existent and not talked about after this year. This is a fact. It's already going to be dead. That game has very little content. That game is not going to sell as much. It's not going to sell like the other previous games that it sold. GT is in trouble. And if they don't come with a GT7 quickly, it's done.
Listen, I just want to say this, right? I'm not a big sim racing guy, but I did play the demo of GT Sports, right? And of course, I played the Xbox One version of Forza 7 at the stores. I'm just going by. I'm not saying what game drives better. Hear me out. I'm just talking about graphically. GT Sport doesn't look better than GT Sport on the Pro. Does not look better than Forza 7 on the X. It does not. Like I just I don't know what the hell Digital Foundry was talking about. I'm just being honest. It doesn't, you know.
So will they update their little video when the X version comes out, or will they just stay mum about it?
I don't know. I don't know, but listen,
man, no damage. How can you have a car racing a supposedly racing sim race a racing sim with no car damage? You can't even get penalized when you play online. People drive erratic and stupid when you play online. You have to wait to get into a match. I waited up to 7 minutes. Now they've increased it. They've gotten better with it. But this reminds me so much of what they did with Street Fighter V. It drives me crazy because, like I said, I am a huge GT fan. I've supported GT from the very first one. And to see this and how it's fallen off, you have the online content is okay, but it's nothing as robust as all of the career mode factors that was in the single player in GT. And if you bums out here that keeps on trying to defend this shit, you deserve to get y'all's asses fucked. No lie. No lie.
Jesus.
No lie.
Okay. Good God, man.
No. I don't want to hear no excuses from you bums. And if you say that you got this shit, show me your gameplay instead of showing me that fucking photo mode. Stop showing that fucking photo mode and show in that fucking replay and show me that goddamn.
Drop your car in a 4K picture, guys.
Show me that soup. Show me the soup while I keep on showing you why Forza's the truth videos. Keep looking at it. K-Mega's preaching. Pass the fucking offering. You can't fuck with it. They can't.
Thank you. So no collusion making such bullshit.
I'm done. And when the X version comes, it's over. It's over. It's over. Talk about sales all you want to. You motherfuckers don't have it. You don't.
All right, listen, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, check it out.
Over.
Listen, at the end of the day, right? 2 weeks. 2 weeks, right? About 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
We're gonna have the Xbox One X, and I hate to be. No, listen, y'all gonna get this work.
14 days, 15 hours. 14 days, 2 hours, 58 minutes.
Yeah, y'all gonna get this work. We're gonna have fun. It's all fun. We're gonna have fun with it, though. You know what I mean? You know, like I said, we could even enjoy our betas, man. So it's y'all turn. So it is what it is, man. But listen, thank you for rocking out with BGST tonight. We had a great time. I don't know what the hell happened. Tim Dog got kidnapped by ninjas. Crap back this up from Colin.
Watch that K-Mega 405 gameplay. Forza's the truth. You know it's not dog shit. They keep asking me, Mega, you playing on PC? No. Xbox One S HDR, bitches. Get that shit in your head. Man, it's over. It's over. Over for you.
But again, thank you for rocking out with us. We catch you all during the week. Crap has
slap that like button.
Nation Mondays. Back with me.
Wednesdays.
I'm sorry, Wednesday, sorry. Well, multiplayer Thursday should be a great. Listen, Thursday we're gonna cut up Thursday. Chris, what day is your show on your new show? What's the name of your show?
I got a new show
with the porn chick.
Hey, she's a nice gal, my friend.
Yeah,
she's a good friend.
What days does it come on? What days? Let the audience know.
We record on Thursdays. It's called Double Penetration Podcast. You can find us at doublepodcast.com. We're sex advice, relationship advice. We just released Volume 3 last week. It's called Sex Horror Stories. Listen to it and learn a thing or two about your pal, Chris Steele, over here.
Jesus no.
But listen, pause. Thank you again for rocking out with us. And we'll catch you, like I said, during the week. And hit the like button, man. Hit the like button.
X gon' give it to you.
Xbox, Microsoft, Black Hat.
Oh.